Hello and welcome to our webinar. I'm Andrej of Zebra BI and this is already webinar number 23 from the Zebra BI webinar series. I hope everybody is safe and healthy in these times. I'm especially excited today that my dear colleague and a BI guru, Pascal Kiefer from Switzerland, is actually joining me and will help me moderate this webinar, will help me answer your questions and do the Q&A in the end together with me. So hopefully this will be a little bit more interactive session this time. So Power BI productivity features, build your reports amazingly fast. Let me first present myself. So I'm Andrej, the founder at Zebra BI. I'm specialized in data visualization, building dashboards, reports, and so on. I've used many BI tools in the course of my career. It's more than 20 years, and now I've ended up in Power BI. We specialize in developing custom visuals, the Zebra BI custom visuals, but we also do a lot of projects and have a lot of contacts with clients and are helping them develop dashboards and reports and so on. So hopefully I'll be able to pass on some of our experience to you today and give you some recommendations on how you can build your reports and dashboards in Power BI faster and also maintain much easier maintain them, right? Okay, let's check if my colleague Pascal is on the line. Pascal, can you present yourself?
Absolutely, I'm here. Hi, Andrej. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Pascal. As mentioned, I'm the founder of a BI consulting company in Switzerland called K-Team Solutions, and I've been a partner of Zebra BI for a couple of years now, and I'm very happy to be on board for this webinar and be your co-host. So please feel free to ask questions and type your comments in the comment box.
Great, thank you, Pascal, and once again, thanks for joining me. All right, this webinar today is going to be almost like a continuation of my last webinar, which was 3 weeks ago, where I presented a dashboard. Let me just briefly switch to this dashboard, and let me also switch the theme back to the classic one. All right, we'll be talking themes today as well. Just to present this dashboard quickly, I have built a dashboard that has a landing page with some nice features. So this is a home page, the first page in a dashboard, in a report, where you have certain nice features. I explained all this 2 years ago. Sorry, three weeks ago. We have the recording for that, so I will share all the links at the end, right? So with the landing page, you have certain features here, the report page, tooltips, and so on. So we already explained most of these features in our previous webinars, right? But of course, every dashboard and every report in Power BI can get quite exhaustive, quite complex, has many pages and so on. So now you have two challenges, right? First, how to design for this navigation between the pages, right? I proposed a few options here. For example, one would be the drill through. If people click on a certain category here, so for example, the mobile business unit here is not performing very well, right? So if I hover with my mouse, I get the report page tooltip, right? And but also once I click here, I also see the button, you see? So this is the drill through button. This is one really nice way now in Power BI. This has actually been enabled in the last version. So you need to have the March version of Power BI desktop to do this. But you can actually designed this nice little drill through button so that when the user selects a category, he can then just click on the button, which will take him to, you know, a more detailed page, right? So then this detailed page now has some more. So now I can see what's going on in my mobile business unit. So you see here at the top, I have the title. This is for the mobile business unit. Now I can click here on the smartphones. Obviously, this mobile business unit has two major product categories: smartphones and tablets. And when I click, you know, I get all the details, and I have a nice little dynamic title here, right? So if I have time, I will explain also these tricks with the dynamic titles here, since I didn't do this last time. But now the key challenge is, of course, you have many detailed pages like this. For example, here on the title, if I click on this title for business units, I will get to a portion of my report or dashboard about business units, right? So now I have different types of reports. Actually, I have 4 reports here. That was the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, right? And this is just the presentation of the business units. Okay, and then you have customers and sales and, you know, many different report pages, right? So you can easily have 30 pages in one single Power BI file. The topic of my webinar today is how to make it easier for you to build them faster, to reuse certain elements here on a page, and so on. So for example, this page that I have here has quite, you know, a number of elements here. So I have the title element, so it's a simple text box here. But then I have buttons. I have 4 buttons. Then I have this back button here, and then I have some picture, the logo type behind the button. Then I have, you know, a number of slicers here. So this is my month versus year to date slicer. So this is a regular Power BI slicer, you know, and monthly, year, month, the KPI slicer, and so on, right? And then I have, of course, the visuals. In my case, these are Zebra BI visuals, but if you're using native Power BI visuals, then you'll probably have even more visuals on a page, right? And now, once you design this, and when you're doing this, first of all, make sure to check what is behind it, right? So this will be my first tip today. Make sure you enable the selection to check how your page looks like, you know, behind the scenes, right? In my case, it does not look so bad, right? I only have like 5 elements, right? So it looks nice and clean. And this is what I'm going to talk about, you know, how to build certain blocks, certain groups of elements, and so on. How can you reuse them? How can you use this in several pages, in other reports as well? How you can style them with Power BI themes, and how you can pack all this into Power BI templates to make sure that not only you, but also other people can reuse you know, the nice things that you have designed in a report or in a dashboard, right? So which brings me back to my agenda, right? The productivity features. So mostly I'll be talking about, you know, selection pane, grouping, naming, copy pasting, you know, best practices, how to do this really, really quickly. Format Painter is a nice tool that can help you be more productive. We'll touch on the themes and the templates, and along the way I'll try to present some ideas behind it, right? How to do this really systematically and understand why, how do you actually structure your reports and dashboards? How do you structure each page in a report or a dashboard? and so on, right? So I'll share the resources and download links at the end. We are recording, and we'll do a Q&A together with Pascal Kiefer. And yeah, we are recording the session, so we'll send out the recording at the end, and also share the PBIX files and hopefully also the JSON files and maybe even the template file after this webinar. Let's see how it goes, right? Okay, so before we dive into the nitty-gritty details of Power BI and do all the stuff hands-on, let me just explain the dashboard pattern, the dashboard design pattern that I have introduced in my last webinar. So I call this is like a two level design pattern, how to structure your dashboards, where you have an overview, the first overview on a homepage with all of those, bells and whistles with help overlays and nice visuals arranged around it and so on. And probably a page like this will take quite some time, because you need to think about the structure. You need to think, all right, who is the user that is going to see this? What are the key KPIs that he needs to see first? What are the elements that will explain his performance in the best way possible? What are the data categories that he must see, on the first site? So this is the landing page. This will take quite some time, I guess, but it's only one page, right? So it makes sense to spend some time and make sure you have nice features here and a nice first page, right? But this is only one page, which we sort of covered in my previous webinar, right? But now you may have 30 other pages, detailed pages, right? Which I just called report pages. The details, where of course you land once people click somewhere through buttons or other types of navigation, drill through and so on. They will go to the report pages with details, and this can be a lot of pages. So you need to make sure that you have building blocks of these pages ready, that you are easily able to copy and paste them, or even if you start to design from a completely blank page, that you can really quickly put the elements on, and do not waste time with the design and with setting every little element of these report pages. So this webinar today is more about the detailed report pages. Okay, so all right, this is a quick checklist for the landing page. We covered this last time, and for this time, report page layout. Okay, so one really easy way how to go about this is to imagine that a page has a page header, right? So this is the top section of the report, where you have the title here. All right, let me pointer options, laser, that's better. All right, so this is it's a title here. Then I have, all right, some logo type and a back button probably, right? So this is all in the header. And optionally you can have page tabs here. So this would be navigation between the pages that are sort of related to the same topic. Like if this is some kind of a report comparing our business units, right, you might have several views, so you can just have some sort of buttons for this page navigation here, and then you go back to the landing page, right? So this will be the page tabs. Then you have the slicers, and everything else is the content, the visuals or some comments and so on, tables, charts, and so on. Okay, so keep this picture in mind, and now let's go back to our dashboard. And as you see here, once I enable the selection pane, right? So from now on, make sure you're working with the selection pane. It'll just make your life so much easier in Power BI. All right, so you see page header. I click here and it's selected. This is my page header. And if I open it, all right, I have the page title, which is a text box. Okay, I have a line here. I have the home button. So this is the button. So this button is actually, it's transparent. It's transparent and it's slightly bigger so that it covers my logo type. And then at the bottom here, I have the logo type, right? So this is my page header, right? It can look differently in your case, right? But the important thing is that you group all the elements here into the page header. So I'll show you how you do this, right? Then I have the page tabs. The page tabs are actually a collection of buttons. Each button just simply takes me, you know, it has just the action to take me to another page. So this is quite simple, but again, you know, they are grouped together in this group of page buttons. All right, then I have the slicers. Again, all of my slicers are grouped together. I have a slicer for KPI month and so on. Okay, so when you start building a new page, if you just start, you know, from a blank page and you start adding all of those elements, like, all right, now let's insert, all right, we need a first button here. So this would be one of my page buttons, you know, to do it. Of course, in any way, you need to put some text. So this will take me to page number 1. Okay, this is my first button. And all right, you need 4 buttons, so you copy and paste. So Control C, Control V. All right, using keyboard shortcuts will also make you more productive in Power BI. Unfortunately, Power BI at the moment is still not at the level of Excel or PowerPoint in terms of, you know, keyboard shortcuts. So there are not really a lot of keyboard. I mean, there are actually a lot of keyboard shortcuts, like, you know, to help you navigate through the selections and settings and so on. But these are, all of those are mostly oriented towards accessibility, to make sure that, you know, people with disabilities and so on can easily do this and so on. So it's kind of helpful, but it's not true productivity feature at the moment still, I would say. But Microsoft is definitely you know, developing those features, so more keyboard shortcuts are coming in and so on. So for now, let's stick to copy and paste at the moment. Let's put a few buttons here. So this will be, you know, 4 buttons like this. Then you need some shapes. Okay, I had a line. So again, everybody who has designed a dashboard a report in Power BI before knows can relate right now. Any this, you know, all right, please make it bigger, and it's just so time consuming. I don't have the time in this webinar to build even one page if I just keep doing things in this way, right? So so how do you make your life easier? Okay, let's throw in another text box for the title. For page title. Hopefully I can type and talk at the same time. All right, like this, and then you need to, you know, make the font bigger and so on. Okay. So it's a quick mock-up. All right, now the buttons. You know, the buttons at the moment, they don't really have any kind, they don't respond to the design of the buttons by default does not really respond to user action. All right, so this is a problem number 1 of the default Power BI default settings, right? So if I want to make this better, I would need to actually somehow design this, like you could enable the fill here on a button, and then design it. So, okay, maybe as a default, this, you know, it's white, but then if you open this, you have two more states. So you can say, all right, on hover, which means when I move my mouse over the button, the fill color will change. All right, let's make it like this, and so on. Like you see, now you design for certain interaction. I'll just make this. Make sure that you're, you know, that you're sorry, more transparent actually. So like 18, something like that. Make sure you don't overdo all of those. You know, it needs to stay minimal and clean and so on, right? And then maybe when I click, you know, maybe another color, maybe same color and just slightly less transparent, something like that. So you see like this. But oh, I only did this on the first button. What about this one? What about this one and this one and this one? 3 more buttons. And if you have 30 pages from before, of course, this will not work. So now you have 2 options. First option would be, okay, delete the buttons, and then again, copy and paste this one, Control C, Control V, put it on, and all right, now this also work. But you know, if you already had actions and text and everything else set on this button, you don't want to delete it and do this over and over again. So one way how to do this is to use the format painter. Okay, so for example, if I want to format the design of this button to this one, to page number 3, let's type the page numbers here, page 2, this would be page 2, page 3. So I need to copy from this button to this button. I will select the first one like this, and then you go here on the home tab and just click here on the format painter. All right, if you're not using format painter, this is a typical thing where this will help you. So just go over the page button 3, and now it behaves the same, right? And then for the fourth one, again, select this one, format painter, just, you know, just paint it over. So this will just paint the style from an element to an element. So this works with quite nicely with the basic settings and so on. So with the colors like you know, borders and so on. So for example, if you want to have the border slightly you know, so that would be actually the outline, right? So the weight probably a little bit too much. So if you know, you want to have more slick, you know, you'll have just 1 pixel, and now you can simply, you know, just transfer the style, and everything else, the text and links and so on, will remain. So this is just copying the style. So format painter quite nice, I would say. All right. Now, for example, now let's create some content here. So let me create let's just create a few charts here, just so that we have at least like a mock-up of a report here. Let's throw in some sales. What's sales versus previous year by month? And let's throw in some business units here. All right, this is kind of cool. So this would be the content, the visual. I still need some slicers, right? So what year is this, right? It's just January and so on, but I don't have the year. So now I would need to throw in the slicer. So let's just put the year here and make it a slicer. I'll just do a drop down like this, and all right, like this. This is my year slicer. I don't think that you actually need the label year for the actual year, like 2000 and so on, right? It's 2018. That's so self-explanatory that you don't really need the title in this particular case, I guess. So for slicers, just think about, do you really need the title or not? In my case, I will just, so this is actually the slicer header, just turn it off. So, okay, at least now this is a, you know, this is one slicer. Then I would need to, this is, for example, the revenue. If I want to do the same for the KPIs, I need to put my KPIs here, make another slicer, and you get the drill. Oh, let's check if format painter will remove the title. Will, oh, it did. All right. So you see, this was alive. I never actually did that before. So it works also for this. So all the styling options, this format painter works quite nicely. All right. The report page, and then what else? I had some. Yeah. Okay. So I had the back button. I'll just copy this button here. No, I won't copy the button. Sorry, I will copy just the so the logo type. So you see, one more reason to use the selection pane here. If you use the selection pane, it's actually much easier to select the objects, because in Power BI you will see that sometimes it's even hard to click on certain elements if they are small. Sometimes, you know, certain visuals will overlap and so on, and it's quite easier to click here, right? In my case, it's really easy because I have the name here. The name is logo type. All right. So actually, I better do this. If I did this from the start, I would need to insert a picture, insert an image, and let's pick some logo type. Now put it here, and then I need another button for the back button. So this will be the back button. All right, and I can put this here somehow, like that. All right, so that's a quick mock-up, but I've already spent a lot of time to do this. Okay, right. Now, if I start building a new page, all right, a new page, now I can use things like, you know, I can copy the elements like 1, 2. You can now control and click to select multiple elements. So I can just select all of them, copy and paste them to a new page. Like this, right? And then the line and so on, which is a lot of copy pasting. You don't want to do that. Okay, so obviously, of course, once you have the full page ready, you would just copy the whole page. So just right click and just duplicate the page, right? And then work from here, and then maybe just delete this visual and do something else, right? So that's much better once you have one page already set and everything is perfect, right? But while you're doing something, now I have 2 pages, and now if I will change something from one page to the second page, right, then I still need to copy certain elements over the previous version. Or if I added something, if I just added those page buttons to this, and now I need to add them to all of the pages, right? There must be a better way, right? So that's why I would first recommend 2 things. First of all, here in the selection box, right now I only have button, image, slicer, button, image, button. Okay, lots of buttons, lots of slicers, and so on. First of all, name them, give them a good name so that you will understand them, and maybe if somebody else will work on this report at some point later and so on, he will also understand, you know, what are the actual elements and so on. So for example, here, this is page 1. So you can simply double click, just double click here in the selection pane and give it a name, give it a proper name. So like this would be a page tab 1, something like that. All right, next one, you see it's this one. If I wanted to choose here, I would have no idea which one is it, right? So this one, again, double click, page tab 2. Next one, page tab 3. Next one, let's get the proper name. So this is page 4. Page tab 4. Did I do this right? Oh yeah. Okay, then of course you can move them around. Just, you know, try to clean this up. All right, so these are now my page buttons. There's still 4 different elements. Now what you can do in the selection pane is control click to select multiple objects like this. Just control click, control click, control click, control click. You select all 4 and then right click and just group them. Group. Okay, now I have the group. All right, this is better. This is now my group of all the pages, and this group, now you can rename the group. So this is now, these are now my page tabs. Page tabs, enter. All right, that's done. Okay, so it's quite nicely. And now if you design them and if you want to copy them somewhere else, you just click here, click on the page tabs, Control C, and just go, you know, next page, and you know, remove the old versions. For example, just, you know, paste. Well, for some reason this did not work. Page, like this. So copy, paste. Okay, new page, paste. It's done. Okay, so these are the page tabs. All right. So this is the basic principle, right? Now I would also say that, for example, this image here, double click and just, you know, you can give it any kind of name. So this is the logo. This is actually the back button, and so on. And then again, you know, and then the line. Where's the line? It's a shape, right? So let's rename it. Line, see, and then so now I have the line and the logo and the back button and the text box. I selected all of them. Did I select the line? Not. One more. So all of them, you see, control click to select them and just group again. And this is now my, let's rename it, page header. All right, I guess you get the drill, right? You can rename the elements anytime. So instead of the text box here, maybe better, what is this, like the heading or something, like just make, you know, give them a really meaningful name, right? Now, for example, if this is now my, you know, my top element here, and I have the slicers, here. Let's throw in another slicer. So maybe I just do it in charts like this, and just create another one. So the period calculation, for example, that's also a typical element here. Another slicer. So this one would be horizontal, I guess. All right, just to have a few more elements. So this is more realistic now. Month, year to date, month. That's great. You can do the same with the slicers, you know, once you design them. Again, here you can control click, select all of them. You see, that's a problem. I wanted to control click, but I actually did not, because you need to, with the slicers, you need to be really careful where do you click. So it's much better to do it here in the selection pane, right? So first slicer, control click, control click, control click. All right, group. And these are my slicers. All right, that's already quite clean now. So it's the, you know, it's already at least a mock-up of a full report, right? But it only looks like it has 4 elements here, so it's nice page organization. And now, if I create a new page, you know, completely, even if you start with a completely empty page, you can go back. Which one is it? Page 2. All right. Now you can copy several groups of elements at the same time. So, for example, if I just want to copy all of that, slicers and page header, control click, control click. So I just select all the groups, the 3 groups, control copy, and just paste, and they are here. All right. Okay, so I think that was enough copy pasting, right? Do you agree? If there are any kind of questions, please type them in the questions box, and Pascal will help me, and then also select the most important questions in the end. And Pascal, if there's something really interesting, then just interrupt me. Okay, this was the selection box, the selection pane, copy pasting, and so on, right? And format pane to format the styles. Okay, so this was still, you know, quite a lot of manual work. So I would say my next recommendation, or I would say to move one level up, you know, from this basic line of work here, is to start using the styles, the themes in Power BI. Because, for example, this button here, the way how it behaves, right, is it's at the moment it's only in this report and in the pages where I actually copied and applied this style to this button, right? But a theme in Power BI will help you just do this once for every button, you know, everywhere in all of your reports at once, right? So with the themes, for me, I think it's 2 things are really important with the themes. Number 1, in Power BI Desktop March version, there's actually much better support for the themes, right? If you go under View, if you have the March version now, this only works in the latest version of Power BI at the moment. So March 2020, for those who will look at this maybe in a recording later on. If you open the styles here, the themes, you see this is there are a couple of new things here, right? And also at the moment these are still preview features. So if you do not see all of those options here, like customize current theme and export current theme and so on, then first navigate to your options in Power BI. So just go to File, Options and Settings, Options, and now there are the preview features are here at the bottom, and make sure you enable customize current theme. All right, you need to enable this at the moment. This will become generally available, you know, in a later version in a later update of Power BI, so everybody will see it by default. At the moment, you still need to opt in here. It's a preview feature, and then you will see customize current theme. Okay, so this is quite important because now you can customize the theme. Click here, and this is now a new option here. You can change all of the colors, you know, for a lot of elements. So the color palettes and certain first level and other elements that are applied to certain visuals. The text styles, the font families for titles and so on and so on. The visuals, the background of visuals, borders, and so on. Then the page as well, right? The page background and the wallpaper, right? What I typically do in Power BI is, in a page, on every page, if you click somewhere out, right, you have in the paint roller here, you have the page background, and if you do this, if you put the transparency to 0, then in Power BI desktop it will look a little bit nicer, right? And maybe if you have a darker wallpaper, it looks like this. So for some reasons, especially when you embed Power BI reports into web pages and so on, this is quite important. Or you just need it for your corporate styling or something, right? And now I did this only for this page, right? Again, if I now change this and I have 30 pages, I don't want to click on every page now, and every page, and again set all of those changes. This is absolutely something that you need to do in the theme. Okay, so for example, if we go back to, oh no, not the theme gallery, but where was I? View, and so customize current theme, right? I'll just go back here. And so under page, you can set here this, so the wallpaper, for example, I said they have Microsoft now has a different color picker here. It's actually better, but it's different than the one from the settings. So this is the wallpaper, and then the page background, right? And then page background like this, apply and save. You see, it's already done. And now if I click new page, new page, new page, new page, it's there. And even all of my 30 pages that I had before will change unless you already clicked and customized it yourself in the visuals. The way how the themes work in Power BI is they will change the default colors and all the settings, that you did not explicitly change before. Okay, so that's how the themes work. Yeah, so this is quite helpful. Also, this is an interesting option. You can export the current theme, export the theme, which will create a JSON file. All right, so this is not for everybody, because let me just demonstrate quickly. JSON file, and I just give it a name. Like that. All right, now I got this JSON file, and what is it? So the JSON file is, when you open it, let me open one of my files that I have previously created. So I opened this in the tool called Visual Studio Code, which is a development tool. But it's a nice one for viewing files, right? So if you will try this yourself at home, right, then let me, which one was from the webinar? Yeah. Then I suggest you actually install the Visual Studio Code. It's a free tool, so you need to download it and install it on your computer. And then when you open JSON files, you will see the files. Unfortunately, when Power BI does the export, this will look very strange, because the whole JSON, the whole specification of styles will be in one line. But this Visual Studio Code has certain really nice features, like you can select everything and then right click and format this selection, and then you will get all the text, right? Oh, for some reason I did not get the full specification. This is strange. I'm not sure why. I was quite sure I got the full specification. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't get the full specification right now. There are actually several things how you can extract a theme from your report. This is still a preview feature, so maybe it's this. I use several methods, so I'm not really sure how I did this. There's also a way how to do it from the actual Power BI PBIX file. If you zip it and then look into the zip, you can also get the style. So that's how I actually got it. But now, anyway, once you have this style, right, you can now change manually any kind of setting, and this would be my second big thing that you need to know for the themes, Power BI themes. It's not just that you can customize colors, change certain colors in a theme, how they will look like, right? But much more importantly, you can change almost any of the settings that you have in Power BI. So for example, let me give you a few examples now. So this was my report. Actually, let's go for this one, the small multiples. All right, so this is what I created before, right? And this is now the Zebra BI visual. And all right, I don't need the selection anymore, I guess. And now you see, of course, you have lots and lots of settings, right? And in this case, for example, I will go under small multiples, because in this case I have some business units with a lot of sales here, and then I have some really small ones, right? And which will happen with most of your data, I guess. So for this, we have the setting called the top N. So I can switch here, click once, I can select to filter out certain items, right? And then I can, change the layout of small multiples. We have a nice new algorithm for that, and maybe decide to show the grid like this, and I don't know, show 9 elements instead of 10. Right, so all right, this is a beautiful report now, right? But I needed like 5 clicks to get there, right? So now you can do the same thing with a theme, okay? For any chart in Power BI, native charts, custom visuals, well, most of custom visuals, certainly Zebra BI supports this, and custom visuals and themes and buttons and everything. So let me just show you in the file. You can do this in the file now, but of course you need to know the exact name of the property, and that's a challenge. The documentation is quite poor. It's getting better though. For example, the buttons. You see action button, action button. So these are the lines how you design the action button. For example, what I did here is I had so for example, when you go over the mouse, this icon changes the color, or can become more thick or something like that, right? So you can design all of that for every state, like for the default state, for the state when the mouse is over, for the state where selected, which means the user clicked, right? And you can then change the color for each state or something like that. So you can do this with a button, and then you can do things like that with the visuals, right? For Zebra BI visuals, we allow every setting that you see there in the user interface, you can put in the theme. So what I did with the here with manually with the small multiples would be here. So for example, under multiple layout, you can choose here the layout type, would be auto, and show top end charts. One means that it will filter top end items, and then how many charts to keep, you see. So I have this specification here, and I put it in my theme called my theme JSON. And then when you save this, now you go back to your report, and I will now just remove what I just did manually from small multiples. I'll just go here and I'll just click revert to default. So now it looks like this. And now instead of going with all my mouse, I will just, I will just bring in the theme that I created for myself. So I will browse for this theme, my theme classic, select it. Wow, it works. It works like magic, right? So, you know, I think that's even more important than, you know, changing the colors. Of course, colors are important, but this is even more important because with one theme, you know, you can create, you can just control any kind of chart properties, your default, some default names, for example, default names. So this, I think this will be the last one, the last example that I'm showing. So, for example, in Zebra BI, if you do a actual versus previous year by month, all right, something like that. And I want the column charts. You see this? So now I already have the total here. So normally, in a normal theme, if I switch to default theme, this chart looks like this. It does not have the grand total, right? But we do have an option here, the setting called the grand total. So the grand total, and of course every user can just click it and, you know, set it to on and it's fine, right? But if you in your company or you personally just prefer to always have the totals on by default, you know, then you just set this again somewhere in the theme, right? So again, you know, it's another setting somewhere. These are the design settings, the chart settings. You see, like show grand total is true. Okay, so this is now in this my theme, customized theme. So if I just bring in this theme again, now I need to browse for it once more. It's already here by default, right? So every new chart that I make will have the grand total on by default. These are just the defaults. Of course, every user can then just simply go and disable the grand total if it's not appropriate for a certain situation, right? So it's still flexible, but you change the defaults. So this would be my last item here. I want to mention in my next webinar, I will dive into the themes and corporate design and templates and so on. So this will be like the next webinar will sort of touch on this subject, and I will also show you maybe even the feature that will make you the most productive. Let me now end with this, right? So once, you know, you style all the elements, you know, once you have everything perfect, you know, all the design and so on, right? What you can do now is, once you have this, just go here, save, and then save this file as a Power BI template. Okay, so instead of saving it as a PBIX file, Power BI file, you open here and you save it as a Power BI template file. All right, so it's the PBIT file ending here. You save it, and Power BI will export this as a template, which means all of your styles, all of your elements, all of your charts, even the custom visuals, if you have them, like Zebra BI custom visuals, they will all be stored in this file. And when you open it the next time, so now I will open something, I will open the one that I created before this, which is a little bit more clean. So you see PBIT file. Now opening the PBIT file, and now I will have everything in this Power BI template, and I can simply use it. This includes your customized theme and every element that you've got. Okay, so I think it's really worth investing into this, right? Now the Power BI template works in a way that it also stores the connections to the data, right? So because this was the initial intention of Microsoft, right? And it actually has the data connections, right? So you have two options now. You can allow the data connection, just put, also now you will see that all of my tables and everything is here, right? Because I just saved everything together with my data as a template, right? But if you just want to save a design template, right, then just just delete the visuals and just just have the buttons and the headers and page layouts and colors and themes and backgrounds and so on, just the design elements, and save it without the visuals and without the data. And hopefully in my next webinar, I will be able to show you a trick where you can actually have some sort of a demo template data, so that you still have certain dummy visuals inside, so it looks good, but you are not really sharing the data connections, and the data connections are not really in the file. So I hope I'll be able to do this. Okay, so this will be in my next webinar, which brings me to the end. I would like to, where is my slideshow? Okay, yeah, before the Q&A, import Zebra BI from Marketplace. So just import from Marketplace and search for Zebra BI, which will give you the visuals and the resources. This was webinar number 23. So all the recordings are on this link, zebrabi.com/webinars, all the recordings, so it's 23 hours of material. And we also have PBIX examples. We just collect them on our help page, Power BI help page, which is this link, zebrabi.com PBI help. And all the recordings are also posted on YouTube. So, if you like our series, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then you'll get notified when the recordings are on and when we announce new things and put other tools, other tips. All right, Pascal, what's the situation on the Q&A?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm busy having a chat with all the people in the webinar. Yeah, well, a couple of questions came in. I tried to answer most of them, but I have a few which only you can answer, hopefully.
Oh, really? So if you feel that there are some interesting things for everybody, just yeah, it's your call.
I have a few questions which came up multiple times, so I think many people would be interested in those.
All right.
JSON files. That looks very technical, and the question was if some of those settings might be integrated into the visuals in the future.
Yeah, well, I guess two things here. Microsoft will definitely, I'm sure that Microsoft will keep improving the this customization customize current theme. So this window here, at the moment it has the colors, the fonts, and so the basic settings, but it's still the visuals are missing. So you cannot set certain detailed feature for a scatter plot or something like that. So you still need to go and program your JSON file. So I guess Microsoft will do this in the future. But for Zebra BI, if you're using Zebra BI visuals, we actually have a much better solution on the so if you are but this is I'm afraid a member feature, so a pro feature, so you need to be sorry, Zebra BI, let me just quickly show you. Oh, do I have it open somewhere? So only for the subscribers of Zebra BI. If you have the Pro license, then you can log into your member portal, and you can set the things here. So you see you have a preview, and this one looks really ugly because I already played around with this. If you mess with the colors too much, it's not good. But you see, you have the color pickers, and you can choose and so on. So you can use this, and then when you download this, then you click here, click download, and you will get the JSON file. So our style editor will generate the JSON file. But at the moment, also on our side, we are somewhere like Microsoft. So most of the design settings are here, but if you need something to tweak something, like I did with the small multiples, and turn some specific settings, then you need to do it in a JSON file. And there's no, it's a technical thing. You need a code viewer, right? So that can display nicely this JSON file, and you need to be quite careful with the commas and curly brackets and so on. So if you're a developer or a IT person, it's completely fine. But for business users, it's can play around, but it's not user friendly.
Okay, thank you. I think most of the other questions were actually related to previous webinars. So
Okay.
I guess you should make sure to send out the link to everybody, and then most questions should be answered.
Okay. So the previous webinars, if you go to the Zebra BI, to zebrabi.com/webinars, or just if you Google Zebra BI, you will land on our homepage. I think the link should be somewhere. It's here under Help and Webinars. So just click here, and you will see all of the recordings. So this is today's webinar, but all the past recordings. So I would definitely, if you're interested in this topic of dashboards and so on, make sure you watch this one, Top 10 Most Effective Power BI Dashboard Tips and Tricks, where I explained, actually the buttons, the actions, and some other things that help overlay and so on for the landing page of the dashboard. So this was this one, and this one. I would say top 5. Power BI DAX tricks. This is where I explain how to create these things like how to switch the whole page from revenue to gross profit, and this month versus year to date switch that will just change everything on a home page. All the visuals will change based on the selections and stuff like that. So you need some DAX for this. So that was a separate webinar, but they're all collected here.
Excellent. Do we have time for one more question, maybe?
Yeah, let's take one or two more.
Okay. So you mentioned that you should do all these steps in a specific order. Is there anywhere where we can read or have a list of the steps and in which orders they should be taken?
List of
in the selection pane, you would first maybe rename and then arrange your buttons, then copy from one page to the other, and in the end create a template, things like this.
Oh yeah, well, it's a really good question. Yeah, well, I would definitely recommend first to do one page really well, right? Just start on a first page, start on a page number 1, and create everything. Like the name, you can always rename elements, always. So this is not a problem, but just do it on the first page, and then once you have everything ready, use this page as a template, right? Because if you have this page, if you have one page already done, right? So if you have the first page, this is my template now, so it's but if you have the first page ready and everything is nice and dandy, then you will, within the same file, you will simply duplicate the page, right? And just remove this one, and everything is set, including backgrounds and so on, and just replace the content. So that's the sweet spot, right? And then you just do something else, like actual versus plan. This is previous year. Oh, maybe this time. Oh, this one is, I have a license here. Well, anyway, can I do this? Oh no, not this one. And do you need create hierarchies. So it's so easy once you have everything set. Now I've got another page, right? So it's so easy, and that's next page. So it's it can be literally you can literally design in minutes, and then all right, this one is done. Duplicate. All right, now instead of this, I will do something else. I don't know, maybe this time I will throw this out and just do actual versus plan, and actually do something like a timetable instead of, because I would definitely recommend doing it in this way, right? And also do not invent 100 different types of pages. You don't necessarily need to have each page completely different. Actually, of course it's much easier for you to stick with few, like 4 different report page types, because it will be easier for you to reuse them, but at the same time it will also be easier for the end user, right? Because he will understand it, he will get more or less the same type of the same organization of information. There will always be title here, always page navigation here, always the slicers here, always same design. So this standardization is really key, right? And then then you just have slightly different types of report pages, right? Basically you have structure reports. So these are reports for a certain month with certain comparisons, right? Or mostly focused on this. So there are like vertical reports like this, and this can be like structure by business units and hierarchies and stuff, or again structure, but then structure in columns, like what I wanted to show here, that is grouped by quarters or something, and then instead of this, just have a time series here, right? And maybe do it in a table fashion here, add the grand total, and that's it, and you've got another report, right? So this one is quite heavy because it's not so visual, but once you clean it up a little bit, or maybe display a few charts somewhere, and you've got another report. So yeah, try to make it on one page, all on one page, and then copy the page, and then when you have one report ready, make a template out of it at the end, right?
Okay, you just actually replied to many other questions while answering this one.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, I thank everybody for attending. Hope to see you on our next webinar. And Pascal, thank you so much. Nice to have you here. So I hope we'll work again, and even more closely at the end. So if anybody needs Power BI services, just send me an email, so I can definitely recommend Pascal Kiefer. Thanks, Pascal.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.